I'm confused. How were you red-pilled? Like, what was your journey into this fucking weird space?
Well, I've always been more conservative. I'd say that they brainwashed me for like maybe a year or two in college, just a little bit. I was like pro
blue
BLM.
hair and a nose
Oh
piercing?
God, no, I was never.
BLM?
I was never that crazy.
Okay.
I was just more like, I was always still more conservative, but I would say maybe on a couple social issues that kind of got me, like BLM type stuff. I kind of felt bad for being white for a minute.
Uh-oh. You got that white guilt?
Yeah, I was like,
I hate guilty white people. Like, that's what I'm racist against, is guilty white people.
Yeah, well, wasn't doing the wild shit that they're doing. But it was like, and privilege. And I grew up in the most privileged life ever. Like, I grew up in a 10-bedroom house with 9 siblings. Like, we traveled the world. I'm like, you can't get more privileged than me. So I just felt really bad. And I was like, oh, shit. Like, did I contribute to, like, the problem?
Are you contributing to white supremacy? Like,
yeah,
you're part of the problem.
Maybe, like, a year or two.
System of oppression.
My dad, he's so logical that he would, and I was like, maybe we should have benefits and shit, because I was like, well, I grew up like this, like you did. But my dad, I just remember this was kind of the red pill moment, but this wasn't about relationships. This was like other stuff. But like, I feel like red pill kind of starts with like conservative policies too. At least it did for me. And he was just explaining to me, you can't have free shit. Like you have to have, he was like $1 in, $2 out. You can only have so many of those programs.
Personal responsibility.
Yeah, and that's like, he would just sit me down and explain stuff to me and I'd be like, oh. Like you can't. The relationships was just reacting to videos. Like Kevin Samuels kind of red-pilled me.
Yeah, I can see that a lot. A lot of the need to be right. A lot of his phrases I hear on your podcast.
Yeah, like what do you talk about when he?
R.I.P. Kevin Samuels.
Yeah, I know he was great. It's so sad he was gone too soon. But he, I'm trying to remember. He triggered me the first time. I was triggered because they were like, you need to see Kevin Samuels. I used to do rap reactions, so it was like whitest girl on earth reacts to like Pooh Shiesty or like something like that.
Good clickbait.
Yeah. So then I did whitest girl on earth reacts to Kevin Samuels, and it was the high value men cheat one. And my dad's he's a high value man, so I called him. I'm like, Dad, where are your bitches? Like, why don't you pose? And he's like, what?
Yeah.
But that kind of.
He really called your dad and said that?
Yeah. No, I talk to my dad like every other day.
Okay.
It's not. He kind of gets annoyed. He says I call him too much, make some friends. But yeah. But I realized like they're more talking about it on like in the state of the world. So at first I was like triggered because I grew up around rich people and none of them really cheated. Like that just wasn't common. And I know that everyone red pill be like they do and you just don't know it. But like I grew up more around like the nerdy guys. I don't know. They just weren't. Like they might be. I don't know. No one believes me. But I really don't think my dad's ever cheated. And so, but what I realized is they're just saying like most guys, if they have a bus full of models waiting for them at the door, are probably gonna do it at some point. And you can see that like what % of NBA players are faithful?
None.
No.
0.
And I was like, even my dad, as much as I love him, if he had girls waiting for him every day at home, it would probably be hard for him too. So yeah, I was triggered by some stuff at first.
It's interesting that it was your father and conservatism, because I think the first thing that really red-pilled me was when Trump ran for president in 2015, and everybody was calling him racist. My motto was always just following the funny, because I always really liked stand-up comedy from a young age. I liked George Carlin, Louis C.K., Dave Chappelle, all those people. And woke people just aren't funny.